My name is Philip Kedge and I am the Director of the McKenzie Friend UK network. I'm a retired Police Chief Inspector and I've been a McKenzie Friend since 2012, and all my opinions and views in my blogs are entirely my own. Now this week The Guardian published an interesting article around how divorced parents are arguing over the COVID-19 lockdown and issues in relation to custody and taking children to handovers to spend time with the other parent, and how those relations and indeed court orders are breaking down. What was interesting in this article is that they gave a case study, and they gave a case study in the name of a person called Simon. I'll just read you part of that case study. And the interesting thing about this is I think that it completely misses the point, and there's a huge elephant in the room which the Guardian newspaper failed to jump on really. So let's look at this case study. Simon, it says here, and I'll read it. Simon, a police officer in London, spent almost £30,000 taking his ex-wife to court to get access to his 10-year-old son called James, following an acrimonious divorce. He normally sees the boy once, one weeknight and on the weekend, but his ex emailed him the night Boris Johnson announced the lockdown, saying she would not allow James to visit for the foreseeable future on the grounds that he's a key worker, and as such Simon was at high risk of getting the virus. Now then, in terms of Simon's case, of course it's heartbreaking. And in fact, what should be happening here under the guidelines, if a parent does lock down the child for rightly or wrongly, then at least Simon should be getting some FaceTime or Skype access with his son James. But this isn't unusual. This is happening all up and down the country. And for people like Simon, I would just say to you, stay calm, be the better parent. The lockdown isn't going to be forever, and the court order will assume itself at some point in the future. Now, he can of course try and apply to court for a C-79 breach of order, but under the current climate I can't see that really being successful or going anywhere or being dealt with as an urgent matter anytime soon. So Simon, you're going to have to live with it. But this is the point that I think has been missed. Now, I'm just going to read out the first sentence again. Simon, a police officer in London, spent almost £30,000 taking his wife to court to get access to his 10-year-old son. £30,000 through lawyers' fees. That is absolutely obscene. My average fee for supporting someone through the family court system, from start all the way to end, including supporting them at 3 court hearings, is £2,500. So Simon, what were you thinking of, spending £30,000 completely unnecessary on unnecessary legal fees? I could have saved you £27,500 to put towards James' future education. And people are getting themselves in crippling lifelong debt for money they just simply can't afford, and they're putting on credit cards. So let's go back to basics for a second in terms of Simon. And for all those who are in a similar position to Simon or are going through acrimonious divorces and need to go to court for child arrangements, family court system does not need lawyers, does not need solicitors. The whole system is based on the principal foundation of access to justice to everyone, where any person can get access to justice without having a lawyer, and where there is no advantage to having a lawyer. And just think about that for a moment. If we had a system in the UK where someone who can afford a lawyer always has the advantage over someone who didn't have a lawyer, then we'll have a system in the UK that was completely corrupt. We don't have that system. In fact, the Equal Treatment Bench Book itself says that there is no advantage in the court system by having a lawyer. Now, if you have a system in this country where any person can self-represent without a lawyer, and we know there's no advantage to having a lawyer, then why are people like Simon spending £30,000 for legal representation just to see their kids? It's absolutely obscene. But the good news is that tens of thousands of people are now every year ditching their solicitors. And they're waking up, they're realising that they can actually go through this court system themselves as litigants in person with someone like me to support them through the entire system at an absolute fraction of the cost of these lawyers. It's time to actually remove these lawyers from the family court system, because in my mind, all too often they just cause far more harm than good. So my message to you is don't be like Simon. Don't get into crippling debt. Don't spend £30,000 on what is, after all, a fairly straightforward system that we have in the UK on how we unite parents with their children following separation and divorce, and how the court system with CAFCAS actually looks at making sure that going forward there are sensible child arrangement orders in place to support both parents and to support a child to be able to see both parents. It is not a complicated system. And as I say, my average fee is around £2,500 from start all the way through to a final hearing. So if you'd like to discuss anything to do with COVID-19, about child arrangements or any aspects of your case, including divorce or finances, then please don't hesitate to book a 1 hour free consultation or to give me a call. I'll be delighted to hear from you. I'm looking forward to your call.